Hello, you're on channel Honey Storytime. All the material in this video is copyrighted and produced by our team. Enjoy watching.
Should I break up with my boyfriend over him hanging out with some girls? My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 months, and he hangs out with his friends 4 times a week for multiple hours at a time. We have planned dates in the past, and he will cancel them just to see them instead. I have repeatedly asked him to stop doing that, and he said that he needs his guy time. I have told him that it's rude and it hurts my feelings a lot. He just told me to get over it and that I'm overreacting. He did it again this past Saturday, and I broke down when he told me. We had a date planned too, and he canceled it. He told me to stop being a baby and that I need to go with the flow of things more often. I'm starting to think that maybe I am overreacting. The next day I saw pictures from his guy Nate, and there were a lot of girls there, and they were super close to the guys, including my boyfriend. I've never once been invited to one of these hangouts, and he's never told me that there are girls there either. I confronted him about it, and I asked him why he was super close to one of the girls, like almost on top of each other. He literally said that it was not him, and that I'm not seeing it correctly. I have no idea what to do, and I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm at asshole for kissing the guy that my best friend was seeing. My best friend has been seeing this guy for a month, but they're not official. I was so happy for her. He would also hang out with us all the time, and I low-key started to catch some feelings. He is tall and super handsome, and my best friend wasn't sure that she wanted to go further with him. I joked and told her that if she doesn't snatch him up, I will. Well, it wasn't a joke from my point of view. Anyways, I started texting him and asked if they were gonna date soon, and he told me not yet. I said good, and we started talking even more. The next time we all hung out, I told him he was so hot when my friend went to the bathroom. He kissed my cheek and said that I was too. The next time my friend left the room, we made out. I felt terrible at the time, but at the same time they weren't dating and seemed like they weren't going to. A couple weeks later, my best friend tells me that she's going to talk to him about dating, and I was shocked. I was so sure that he would say no, and that we had something special. But he told her yes, and now they're dating. We stopped our thing, but I'm so jealous, and I feel bad. I'm thinking about telling her to ruin their relationship, but I don't know. So, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not wanting custody of my kids? My wife and I are getting divorced, and we have 2 kids together. They are a handful. We had kids super young, and I feel like I never got to live out my fun 20s, since we had them when I was 20 years old. My wife and I are getting a divorce because we both realized that this is not what we want anymore. I love my kids, but I do not want to be a dad right now. And my ex is such a good mom. I feel like I would do more damage than good if I had to take care of them right now in this state. I want to have some fun before I go back to being a dad. I told my ex what I was feeling, and she told me that I needed to grow up and that I should have thought about that before we had kids. I obviously did not know that at the time, and it's too late now. My ex has already found a new guy, and he treats our kids so much better than I could right now. I told her that I need some time to find myself, and she told me if I do this, then she'll make sure that I never see them again. And she also threw in some not so nice words about me and what I'm considering doing. So, I'm just wondering, am I the asshole for not wanting custody of my kids? And you guys can always send stories to me on my Instagram DM. Thank you. Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend because he cheated on me? My boyfriend and I have been together for 10 years, and he was my first boyfriend, and I am so in love with him. A couple nights ago, his phone went off while he was sleeping, and I read the message, and it was a Tinder notification. I have never once went through his phone, but this freaked me out. I used his thumb to get into his phone, and I went through it. It turns out he was messaging like 20 girls on Tinder, flirting and setting up hookups. I went through his text as well, and I saw him exchanging pictures with this girl named Emma. I was so mad, and I started to shake and cry, which must have woken my boyfriend up, and then he snatched his phone back. I asked him why, and he said that I shouldn't have gone through his phone. He tried to go back to bed, but then I just started screaming. He told me to be quiet and that it's just a big misunderstanding and that we can talk in the morning. I couldn't wait, so I grabbed my stuff and left for my parents' house, since me and my boyfriend shared an apartment. I get a call in the morning of him asking where I went, and I told him that we're done and that he's an asshole. He called me a bunch of names and said I'm a bad person for not letting him give an explanation. So, am I the asshole here? Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to marry me in front of her family? My girlfriend and I have dated for 6 years, and I was ready to pop the question. We were at her family's Sunday dinner, and I thought it'd be perfect for her family to be there to see it. And I was sure she'd say yes because we talked about marriage a lot. While at dinner, I gave her a bread roll, and when she ripped it open, the ring was in there. She looked as if she was about to cry, which I thought was a good thing. And then I asked her to marry me. She got up and left. I was obviously so shocked and embarrassed. Her family was super confused as well. I followed her out, and she told me that it was a shitty proposal and that she deserved something more grand than a bread roll at dinner. I told her I thought it'd be perfect, and then she just got more mad. She told me that she didn't want her family there, as it's a lot more pressure to put on her. And she told me that I can try again, but I only get one more chance, and if I blow it, then she's done with me. I'm in such disbelief. She's never acted this way before, and she never told me what she wanted or didn't want. I don't know what to do because I love her, but this kind of scares me. So am I the asshole, and what should I do? Am I the asshole for calling out my mother-in-law for babying her grown son? My mother-in-law has babied her son for as long as I've known them. She has treated him like a child, and he's a 32-year-old man. My husband was sick and had to take off work, and while I was at work, she would come into our house and take care of him. I was never notified about this until I came home from work and she was there. She's always telling me how I'm a bad wife and that I need to cater to his son's every need. I've told my husband that it's very odd that his mom treats him like that, and I've also overheard her telling him that he should leave me and come back to live with her, since I'm such a terrible wife. She's always getting in my face about how I should change and how I can be more like her. She thinks I'm not enough for him, and my husband does nothing about it. He even agrees with her sometimes. When I came home, I asked her what she was doing, and she told me treating her son how he deserves to be treated, and that she's doing the things that I will not do. That was my last straw, and I blew up on her. My husband took her side, and they both told me I was out of line. So, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for kicking out my 16-year-old? Over the last couple years, my son has really become an absolute degenerate. He started to smoke weed and vape those fruity little pens. I never thought he'd be that kind of kid, but after his dad left when he was 13, he was never the same. Today was my absolute breaking point. He came in with 4 or 5 other people smelling like weed and cotton candy from his vape pen. They trashed up the living room, smoked the entire time, and they were only here for about 5 minutes. Before I came in and scared them away and scolded my son for doing this, he didn't even look at me when I was trying to explain to him that he's throwing his life away, and he just told me to shut the F up. He then told me that dad was so much better than me, and I was the reason he left in the first place. As soon as he said that, I saw red and I threw his ass out of the house and locked the door. I hope he finds a better life for himself because he seems to think that I ruined his. I've tried to get him help and stuff, but he just does not care. So, I'm just wondering, am I at fault here and am I the asshole for doing this? I do love him still, but he just will not listen to me. Am I the asshole for kicking my roommate out of our apartment? I am so fed up with my roommate. She never paid rent on time and she has almost gotten us evicted for it. On 2 different occasions too. She will never clean the main room, even after she had tons of people over for a party. And she's never bought food or done anything or even cook. And she would constantly eat my stuff. She was gone for the weekend to go see family, so I took it upon myself to tell the landlord that she was moving out and I'd be the sole tenant. Since this place is kind of sketchy, the landlord didn't care as long as he still got rent from me. As soon as she was kicked off the contract, I threw all her stuff out into a dumpster. And I put what I thought was most important into a box by the door. I asked the landlord to change the locks and he did, so now she did not even have a key. The place is so much cleaner and so much quieter without her as well. When she came home from that weekend with her parents, she couldn't get in and she started banging on the door and screaming. Meanwhile, this is at like 11 o'clock at night. And she was threatening to sue me, but this is my apartment now and she has no rights to it. She even called the police. So was I the asshole? Am I the asshole for coming out as bi to my wife? I've been bi my entire life, but I was also completely closeted because of my parents and my wife being extremely religious. I am now 29 years old and not able to hold it in any longer. I've never had a relationship with a man, but I needed to get it off my chest with my wife because I hated feeling stuck. When I told her, she completely lost it on me, to a level I could not even imagine. She called me a freak and belittled me for at least an hour about everything. And then she went to threaten to tell my entire extended Mormon family that I was bi, and that I wanted to go marry a guy instead of her. She told me how lucky we were that we didn't have kids because she didn't want to pass on that gene. I have no idea what to do, and I know the church will be mad if they find out too, and I'll never be able to show my face there again. I really do love her, and I thought that this would go over really easy, but obviously I was wrong. I just wanted to be happy with myself for once in my life, and I feel like she kind of ruined that. I'm also scared that my marriage is over, and I really do love her. So what should I do, and am I the asshole for coming out? I just really need advice on this. Am I the asshole for sleeping with my stepmom? I, 23 male, have came home after a long night of partying, and when I was dropped off, I felt really good about myself. I noticed my dad's car wasn't around, but my stepmom's car was in the driveway. I have always had a crush on her, and I thought that she was super hot. But obviously, she's my stepmom, and I could never do anything. But that night, I did. When I walked in, she was on the couch watching TV, and we just started to kind of talk. One thing led to another, and the next thing you know, we were laying in bed together. I instantly regret what happened, and then stormed off to my room after the act was done. I considered telling my dad, but I could never live that down, and I felt so ashamed about myself. I knew that it was super wrong. She is now threatening to tell my dad about what happened if we don't do it again. My dad leaves town in a couple weeks for a work trip, and I'm hella scared. I really don't want to do anything, and I wish I never even did anything in the beginning. So what should I do, and am I the asshole? I see her every day, and she keeps making little remarks about it. Am I the asshole for leaving my pregnant wife? My wife and I got married when we found out that she was pregnant with our first kid. We got married when we found out, but we only known each other for 2 months. Fast forward to now and she's pregnant with our second. Our relationship has been really rough and not the best. She constantly flirts with other guys and hates when I even like a picture of a girl on Instagram. She does not want to get a job at all, and says that she should take care of the kids instead. I'm working 2 jobs to keep us afloat and she does not help at all. She'll even take my wallet sometimes and buy purses or makeup. Even after I say that we really do not have the budget for that. She has been a nightmare with the second pregnancy as well, and I wish that I never met her. I love my child, but she's terrible. I really do not love her anymore, and I'm repulsed by her. I told her I wanted a divorce, and she told me no way. I'm still gonna go through with it though, but her family's making me feel like shit for doing it. I cannot stand to be around her or even live with her anymore. And I feel bad for my kids because my wife is crazy. Her family has been harassing me for even asking her for a divorce. So, am I the asshole for it?
I'm an asshole for not wanting to take care of my kid when he's born. I just started college and I met this girl and we hooked up a couple of times. Well, she got pregnant and I told her I wasn't ready to be a dad at 18 years old. She told me that she was going to keep it and that I'll need to help her no matter what. We argued a lot as I barely knew her and I really did not want this child. I'm really young and I feel like this is going to mess up my life. I also feel like I'm still a child myself. I shouldn't be raising one. I told her I cannot do it and if she keeps it, then she'll be doing this alone. She told me that that's not fair and that I'm stuck with her. She even mentioned getting married. I'm scared and I have no idea what to do. I'm really not even mature enough for a kid and I do not want to take one or even raise one. She's been harassing me every day about it and has been sending me ultrasounds and pictures of baby stuff. I obviously feel bad for not helping her, but at the same time, I voiced my thoughts about it. I'm still a kid and she just does not understand that. My parents are upset with me and her parents are also pressuring me into being a dad and being there for her. I have no idea what to do, but I know I do not want to raise a kid. So, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for cheating on my really crappy boyfriend? My boyfriend and I have been together for a very long time and he's always been a jerk to me, telling me if I ever leave him, I'll never find someone better. And then I'll never find someone else. That I'm ugly and no one will love me except for him and constantly he's telling me that I'm such a shitty girlfriend. I hate this relationship, but I'm scared to leave because I'm scared of him. And I think what he's telling me is true. I met this guy at college and he was super nice to me. It was nothing flirty or romantic at first, but it did start to get that way. One day, the guy told me that I was pretty and that he likes me. I told him I like him too, but I'm in a relationship. I told him how my relationship was and I explained everything to him. And he was super understanding. We did flirt and we did kiss. I felt bad because I knew this was cheating, but my boyfriend was an a-hole and super mean to me. So I felt like it was payback. My boyfriend went through my phone like he does monthly and found out. He flipped out and screamed at me and threw things at the wall. He told me that I'm worthless and I need to end things with that guy now. I went to tell the guy and the guy said he can help me get out of that relationship. I obviously feel bad for cheating, but I'm gonna continue to see this guy. So am I that? Am I the asshole for rehoming my dog? I got my dog 3 months ago and I loved him. He was amazing. I was also 9 months pregnant and was super excited to have a baby and a new dog. After my baby was born, my dog would constantly growl at my kid and try to bite him. This was so out of the blue for me as the dog has been a sweetheart before now. I was super scared it would hurt my kid, so I just tried to keep them separated as I thought maybe it was just because the kid was new. I gave my dog lots of attention as well because I also thought maybe he was jealous. This did not work as he still tried to go out of his way to get to my kid. One day I went to go out to go get the mail, and when I came back, my dog was looking like he was about to attack my kid who was in the crib. I got there just in time as my dog leaped forward. This was my final straw. I put the dog in my car and drove him to a no-kill shelter and just gave him up. I let them know that he was not good with kids as well. I felt so bad. I was also in a Facebook group for people with dogs and I vented a little to get some reassurance that I did the right thing. So many people call me cruel for doing it. I obviously really miss my dog, but my son's safety is more important. I've been feeling really down about it, so I'm just wondering, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not being friends with someone because of their political beliefs? I was friends with this girl, and let's call her Sarah, for 12 years. We've been through so much together. She was like my best friend. Recently, she's been getting more and more right. She believes that this pandemic is just a government scheme and that it's all fake. She constantly brings up politics anytime she can and tries to persuade me to her side. I constantly tell her I do not believe that and I am sticking with the facts. Of course, she gets mad at that, and she likes to go to Facebook for all of her facts. I cannot stand her and her beliefs as they are literally all that we talk about now. We got into it recently and we were debating, and she constantly would tear down my looks or something whenever I would just show her a statistic or kind of prove that I'm right. I swear she does not even know what she's saying. She says that I'm just a dumb liberal who doesn't even know what the real world is like. That I need to face reality. I had enough of her acts and I told her I cannot talk to her anymore until she changes or just shuts up. She's been posting on Facebook about how one of her friends is fake and a bitch, and we all know that she's talking about me. I do miss her and I feel bad about how things ended, so I'm an asshole for coming out to my parents. My parents are super religious and do not support the LGBTQ plus community. I have been gay since I can even remember, and I've always wanted to tell them. I have joked about it with them before and they laugh and say, "Thank God you're not though." And that's obviously not reassuring at all. One day, I got up the courage and just told them. I was so nervous and was about to cry. My mom and dad lost it and said there's no way that they could have a gay child. They said it's not in their genes and that I will be in hell. I told them that's not true and that it's just who I am and that I really hope that they'd be okay with it. They said that they're not, and my mom was crying. My dad was so mad that I made my mom upset that he told me to leave right now. So I did, and I stayed at a friend's house for a couple of days. When they called me 3 days later, they said I can only come back if I promise to be straight, and that I cannot act on any of my homosexual desires. I said yes because I obviously just needed a place to stay, but my life is so much worse. My mom and dad hate me and are making me go to church every single day to talk with my priest. I regret even telling them, so am I the asshole?
I'm an asshole for not wanting to be BFFs with my friend anymore because of how she treats me because I'm bi. I've been friends with my best friend for about 8 years, and let's just call her Cece. Me and Cece have always been super close. Our friendship has always been really toxic. We'd always fight over stupid things. But after a year or two, we became really good friends and got along great. But now that we're in our teens, things have started to change. I'm bi and I'm very proud of it, and when I came out as bi, she had no problem with it. Or so I thought. Later on, she tells how she agrees with me being bi, but everyone else says that she feels grossed out about it. I haven't been in very long relationships, but every relationship that she gets into, then a week into it, she stops talking to me. And if she does, she'd tell me that she would choose them over me. I just do not know what to do. In one case, one of her boyfriends found out that I was bi, and we were sort of chill before it happened, but now his whole demeanor changed. He makes rude comments about me in front of all our friends, and she stuck up for him. And then when she started losing feelings for him, then she would stick up for me. I just do not know what to do, and she has not been talking to me. Every time I try to talk to her, she makes me feel stupid for wanting to talk to her. She also made me cut off contact with all my friends a couple years back, and now I'm getting back in contact with them. She found out and she got really mad at me. I don't know what to do. I'm an asshole for telling my boyfriend's sister to stop calling my baby her baby. My boyfriend and I just had our daughter a month ago, and he hasn't talked to his sister in 13 years due to his mom wanting to protect him from her. Until recently when their mother passed away. When I was 6 months pregnant, his mother passed unexpectedly, and he was having a really hard time getting through it. So when I was 7 months pregnant, his sister reached out to him and he wanted to give her another chance because it's only him, his brother, and his dad now. I haven't had a problem with his family except for her. It bothers me when I was in the hospital less than 24 hours after having my daughter, and she came to see her and started saying it's her baby. And our baby to my boyfriend. She saves every photo that I put on Facebook. She even made her own baby album of my daughter and wants to get her name tattooed on her, which I asked her politely not to do. She told my boyfriend off after I said not to, and said I will hold off until she realizes it's just an aunt thing. He hasn't even given me a chance. My boyfriend doesn't see anything wrong with it. I'm highly frustrated and I'm severely uncomfortable around her. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not making a vegan option for my stepmother? So my husband and I were planning on having family over for Thanksgiving, and we really wanted to have a nice big turkey because we both grew up really poor and we never had a really good Thanksgiving dinner. We of course made sides like stuffing and mashed potatoes, as like no Thanksgiving dinner is really complete without, or at least we thought so. When the night of the dinner came around, my husband's parents came in. They were very impressed by the spread of the food we made throughout the day. We were also expecting my father to show up with his new, and let's just say problematic wife. She always makes stuff about her, and recently became a vegan. My husband and I, however, did not know that she was vegan, and my father did not tell us. She and my father finally made it about 20 minutes late, and the food was even starting to get cold. So we rushed them to the seats, and so everyone could enjoy the meal. When we're sitting, I instantly realized that my stepmother wasn't even putting anything on her plate and looked extremely angry. I asked her what the issue was, and she said very aggressively, I don't eat anything from animals anymore, and this is extremely insulting. This started a whole fight, and they stormed off. I'm that asshole for telling my boyfriend I want nothing to do with his family. I met my boyfriend almost 5 years ago, and we got together straight away. However, he did not meet my son right away, as he isn't his dad. However, when they did meet, he took on the stepfather role right away, and we became very serious. His family had never really had a problem with me. His mother, however, hated me since the start, even asking my partner not to bring me around. Eventually, though, it seemed like she got over it and asked us to move in, and we did. However, that did not last long before she started calling me names and judging my parenting. My partner was so angry, he sat down, and he told her it was uncalled for, and we moved out. His siblings now do the family days and birthday parties, but we never get invited. Although my son isn't his, I thought we would have been welcomed into the family by now. Christmas, every year my son gets cheap plastic car, and he is very grateful. I find this offensive because 1, he doesn't even play with cars, and 2, he has to watch the real grandkids and nieces and nephews get like 8 to 10 expensive gifts that are all wrapped. I don't care if he goes to see them. I just don't want to be associated with them anymore. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for getting mad at my boyfriend because of his girl best friend? My boyfriend, and we'll call him Tyler, has a girl best friend, and we'll call her Lexi. They are extremely close. At school, they'd always hug and sometimes even kiss each other on the cheek or forehead. I got mad and even a little sad that my boyfriend would betray me like that. So I confronted him about it and asked him not to be friends with her anymore. My boyfriend told Lexi, and she texted me calling me an asshole. They then tried to turn the tables, saying that I cheated with my boy best friend, when my boyfriend made me cut off almost complete contact with, let's call him Alex. My boyfriend broke up with me because Lexi told him I was cheating with Alex and that I did the dirty with him. So he broke up with me, and 2 of my girl best friends, we'll call them Chloe and Sally, which Chloe is best friend to Tyler. So they told him that none of that was true and got back together. But when we were broken up for that day, Lexi and Tyler got together, and as soon as he wanted to get back with me, he broke up with her. I broke it off as soon as I found that out. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for hooking up with a married man?
I went to the bar after a long, rough day, and there was an older man sitting next to me. I think he could tell I was having a rough day, and he bought me a drink. And we started talking, and he was telling me about how his job is terrible, and his relationship with his wife is not good either. I didn't think this would be anything other than just a conversation at the bar. The next thing I know, he grabs my hand and starts to flirt with me, and I go along with it because why not? We talk and flirt for hours, and we end up going back to his place. His house is gigantic, and I can tell that he's loaded. His wife wasn't home, and we hooked up. After we did the dirty, he tells me he wants to do this again sometime, and I agree. It was fun doing with someone more experienced, if you know what I mean. I accidentally left my underwear there, and the next day, I'm at a grocery store, and I hear a woman on the phone, and she seems upset, and she's talking about how her husband is cheating on her, and she found a woman's underwear. I felt bad because I think she was talking about me. We also live in a small town. He called me up again to hook up, and I'm torn on whether I should go or not. I'm an asshole for hooking up with my guy best friend, even though he has a girlfriend. My guy best friend and I have been friends for such a long time, like 12 years. But he's been dating this girl, and let's call her Abby, and they've been together for about 6 of them. I hate her. She's super rude, and I think she just uses him for his money. She's always been super mean to me and tells my BFF, and let's just call him James, that we cannot be friends. Which obviously won't ever happen, because I was here long before she was. Anyways, James was over for our monthly movie night, and it was just us. We were watching Twilight and making fun of how bad it was. Anyways, we were sitting kind of close, and I kissed him. He seemed shocked, and then said, "I was hoping you feel that way too." And then we made out. One thing led to another, and we actually hooked up. The next day, I texted him, asking what should we do? Did we continue or not? And Abby was the one who answered the text. I think they fought about it a lot, but they didn't break up. James told me we're not allowed to see each other, which is super unfair. Anyways, we still hook up every couple of days. I kind of feel bad, but Abby's a bitch, so I don't really care. I'm an asshole for not being religious. I met my boyfriend's family for the first time, and they're hella religious. Like pictures of Jesus everywhere type of religious. I thought they knew I wasn't religious because my boyfriend isn't, but I guess not, and I also don't think they know that my boyfriend is not religious. Anyways, we were at dinner and saying grace, and I didn't say it or pray. His mother saw and started getting visibly angry. She asked me why I didn't say it, and I told her I just don't believe in it. She completely lost it on me. She started calling me an antichrist and that I'm going to burn in hell. I was very confused, and my boyfriend didn't say anything or even defend me. I asked her to stop and said it's just a personal choice. She started crying and asked my boyfriend why he dates someone like me and let them in their home. My boyfriend, again, didn't say a word. She went back to me and tried guilting me into being religious right there, saying if I'm not, I'm gonna die painfully and that my life will be miserable if I'm not. I wanted to laugh because how ridiculous it was. She then kicked me out, and since my boyfriend was my ride home, I had to sit on the sidewalk outside her house because I was not allowed on their property because I bring in bad spirits. So, am I the asshole? I'm an asshole for kicking out my pregnant girlfriend. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 1 year, and she got pregnant a few months back when we started dating. She is about 7 months along right now. I'm super excited to be a dad, but my girlfriend is not the person I thought she was when we first started dating, which I'm guessing just could be the pregnancy hormones. I've been working a lot, so we have some extra money, and she hasn't worked at all. She got mad at me for neglecting her while I was at work, and I told her I'll see her when I get home and we can get some dinner together. Well, I guess that wasn't good enough because when I came home early to surprise her, I found her making out with her ex in my home. I didn't even know that they still talked, and I was super mad and just started yelling, asking her how she could do this and why. Her ex left, and she was just laughing at me, saying I'm being a baby right now and I need to calm down. She said that she really needed attention really badly, and since I wouldn't give it to her, then she would find it somewhere else. I could not believe what I was hearing. I told her to leave, and I threw out all her things and did not let her back in. She was crying and saying that I'm overreacting and that I'm evil. She said she had no place to go, and I told her just to go with her ex. I feel bad, but she's crazy. Her mother texted me saying I'm an ass and I'm gonna rot in hell. I feel like I did the right thing, but I don't know. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not being okay that my husband is bi? My husband recently came out to me, and I was very much okay with it, as I know that he still loves me and wants me. Since he came out, he likes to talk about how attractive men are to the point of talking about specifics that he likes. This makes me very insecure, and I told him multiple times that it makes me uncomfortable. He told me that it's really not a big deal. But if I even comment on how a celebrity man is hot, he gets super mad and won't even talk to me. He recently has been going to a gay bar that we live by, and when I ask to come, he says no. I feel like he could be cheating. He has a friend on his phone who he texts every day, and whenever I look over his shoulder, he instantly shuts off his phone and snaps at me for looking. I love my husband, but I feel like he may not want me anymore. I was okay with him being bi, but now I don't know. We got in a fight about it, and I said what he's been doing is not okay, and I told him how I felt. He said I'm being homophobic and a bitch. I have no idea what to do, but I kind of feel like my relationship is over. So, am I the asshole for not being okay with it? And what should I do? I'm an asshole for not wanting my mother-in-law in my kid's life after they tried to kidnap them. My mother-in-law has always been kind of off, to say the least. She's always babied her kids and hated her kids' partners. I thought maybe when I was finally married into the family that she would see me as one of her own and actually just be kind and like me, but I was wrong. She was at our house every day making dinner and doing household chores, which I thought was a little odd.
When I asked her to stop coming over, she told me that I'm just an ungrateful bitch and that I'm not a stay-at-home wife and someone else had to take over and take care of her son. When we had our child, my mother-in-law would come over and constantly be taking care of my child and would not let anyone else near her except for my husband. One day, I came home from work and my child was gone. My husband was on a work call and didn't even realize that she was gone. When we finally found her, she was with my mother-in-law and she would not give her back. After all of that, I put my foot down and told her that she's not allowed in my house or near us again. Everyone in the family is calling us, saying how out of line we are. My husband's on my side. So, am I the asshole? I'm an asshole for breaking up with my girlfriend after they slept with my ex while we were on a break. I used to date this person, and let's call them Alex. And when I found out they were cheating on me, I broke it off. Their friend, let's call them Emma, was there to comfort me and was the one to tell me that I was getting cheated on. After a few weeks of talking, we decided to start dating. What I didn't know at the time was Emma and Alex liked each other. Right until we started dating. About 1 month into our relationship, my ex, Alex, found out and forced Emma to break up with me. When they broke up with me, they said that we could be together, but we couldn't date. But that only lasted a week until we decided just to get together, despite Alex. Alex is very affectionate with my partner to the point that it made me very uncomfortable. 2 months into Emma and I dating, they broke down and confessed to sleeping with my ex, Alex, a few days after we decided to take a break. I was so hurt and very betrayed. I told Emma I don't think I can be in a relationship with them. Because after I broke up with Alex, they told me that what they thought they did was awful. I got an angry message from their best friend calling me an asshole. I'm an asshole for not wanting to clean my boyfriend's house, which I also live in anymore. So I moved in with my boyfriend a couple weeks ago. He had a younger brother and it's a house all of boys. Their house isn't the cleanest, but it's not super bad. Since I moved in, I've done a huge amount of cleaning. There were cupboards that weren't clean in years, and shelves that weren't clean either. I took it upon myself just to clean it all. It took hours out of my day, and I was the only one cleaning. Lately, I've been really slacking on cleaning because I've done so much of it. Their house is about as spotless as it gets now. But his younger brother has started to bug me to clean more, as I am just helping out cleaning in the kitchen and other areas. They keep wanting more and more done. His rule is to do one thing a day, but I've done years worth of cleaning in that house that really needed to be done. They're all guys and I'm the only girl, and they've been bugging me to do more. So I'm an asshole for slacking a little bit. And guys, you guys can always submit stories to me on my Instagram DM. Thank you. Am I the asshole if I leave my boyfriend? I'm 19 and my boyfriend is 20. We have been together for 3 years, and in these 3 years, he has made me cut out all of my female friends and best friends, saying that they are a really bad influence and that I should start distancing away. He also says that I should not learn how to drive, work, or study, or further my education at like college or university. He wants me to be a stay-at-home and wait for marriage in 5 years' time, where I'll only be allowed to study online and work from home. However, I do the exact opposite for him. I allow him to socialize. I don't have any problems with his friends. I have no problem against him working or studying, and I literally support every single one of his decisions. Every time I bring up the topic about not doing anything and having no goals in life, while I see people around me moving on with life, he just tells me to wait if I love him. I do love him, but will I be the asshole if I leave? Please give me some advice on what to do, and if I'm really the asshole here.
I'm an asshole for not going to my sister's and my ex's wedding. My sister is getting married to my ex-fiance, and I was never comfortable with their relationship, and I've told her that. It doesn't help the fact that he cheated on me with her. They are going to get married in a couple months, and my sister's mad that I just won't go. She says that it's not fair to her, plus she wants her baby sister there, which I understand. I just kind of feel bad for not going though, but at the same time, I just really don't want to see my ex. It was a really hard breakup, and I don't know if I can see them getting married. We only broke up about 6 months ago, so it's still pretty fresh. My sister and my family are going to push me into going, but I'm not comfortable at all. Fast forward to the wedding, and I just didn't go. And now I see them at every family event, and they both always bring up about how I did not go. I'm so close to just losing it at them. I feel like they just don't understand how mean it was what they did. I feel bad. At the same time, I don't know. So was I wrong for not going? Was I the asshole? Should I have gone? I don't know what to think or do.
I'm an asshole for refusing to be in my sister's wedding but agreeing to be my brother's. So my sister recently got engaged and has asked me to be one of her bridesmaids. I am openly trans, F to M, and my sister knows this. Wearing a dress just makes me feel feminine and I hate it. Her knowing this, she still asked me. And at first, she respected it until she found out I agreed to be my brother's wedding. My brother also recently got engaged and asked me to be one of his groomsmen. I said yes because he's my brother and he sees me as a brother as well. My sister found out and she was pissed. She started saying how I'm picking favorites and that I should be fine just wearing a dress for one day. Her and I are really close, and honestly, I'm debating even going at this point. Because she's basically invalidating who I am, just so I can be in her wedding as a bridesmaid. So I'm just wondering, am I the asshole for refusing to be in my sister's wedding then?
And guys, you guys can always submit stories to me on my Instagram DM. Thank you.